What's going on, Sports Wars? This is Ryan with RK Outpost and GeeksGamers.com, and Major League Baseball continues to be an absolute disaster, and each and every decision they make not only proves how hypocritical they are, but also just turns out to make it even worse. That's exactly what we have today. After the terrible decision to bend the knee to the outrage mob, to the woke mainstream media, to the politicians, the liberal politicians that pushed for this, Major League Baseball decided to pull the All-Star game out of Atlanta, Georgia, because of Georgia's new voter laws, which, oh my gosh, make you show ID in order to vote. Well, that was deemed racist by those same people, the woke mainstream media, the sports media, the liberal politician. They said it's so racist to make people show identification to vote. Well, now we have an announcement that goes to show it was never about that, and it was always about the narrative. It is about a political narrative that has infested sports and is currently destroying Major League Baseball. Look at this from Buster Olney. Colorado's Coors Field is expected to be the site of the 2021 All-Star Game. Coors Field in Colorado, of course, home to the Colorado Rockies. Well, the very first thing that nearly every single person did when they heard this was Google, what are Colorado's voter laws? Because a lot of people were interested in that, because obviously the reason they moved it out of Georgia is because the politicians, the mainstream media said that that's a racist law to make people show ID. How dare you? Well, as you can see from my reply, I Googled it. Why don't I just take you right there? Colorado, acceptable forms of identification. All voters who vote at the polls must provide identification. Isn't that strange, Major League Baseball? This goes to prove that it has nothing to do with that. They don't actually care about these people. They don't actually care about this shit. It is all a virtue signal and a narrative. They are moving it out of a state that is controlled for the most part by Republicans, and that is traditionally a Republican state. I think we all understand what went down this presidential election. We're not going to get into that on this channel, but you all know the situation. And they're moving it to an extremely liberal state in Colorado that has the same fucking voter ID laws that Georgia now has. And in fact, they're more strict when it comes to voting by mail. If you're voting by mail for the first time, you'll also need to provide a photocopy of your identification when you return your mail ballot. They go and they list all the applicable and acceptable forms of identification. How dare you? So what are you going to do now, Major League Baseball? Are you going to move it because that's racist? But it's not racist because it doesn't go against the narrative that the mainstream media, people like the fucking President of the United States, Joe Biden, even pressured them into making this decision. Look at some of this reaction. Greg Price. MLB is moving the All-Star game to Colorado, which requires photo ID to vote in person, requires signature verification from mail-in ballots, which Georgia got rid of, and prevents campaign workers from giving food, water to voters within 100 feet if they're wearing campaign apparel. The same rules that Georgia instated. But that's racist. Now it's moving to Colorado. And the funny thing is, they're even getting pushback from other people, the woke side. Let's take a look at this. This is hilarious. Brett Frazier, as a Rockies fan, I'm all for Coors, but let me figure this out. The Major League Baseball made a statement by moving the All-Star game and all its revenue from a city that's 51% African American because of voter ID to one that is 69% white, 10% African American, and still requires voter ID? Yeah, this is big brain time. And you have Keith pointing this out too. An interesting thing that I'm sure the woke mob is now going to come after because these people eat each other alive. The MLB All-Star Game is moving from Atlanta to Denver. Georgia, 31.5% black. Colorado's 4.5% black, 86.9% white. The game will be played at Coors Field, named after a company who often donates to what critics call, quote, anti-gay hate groups. Georgia wants ID to vote. Bastards. And in nearly every single response where you see this out there, people are pointing this out. People are pointing out that they also require voter ID. They are being called out for the absolute hypocrisy. Major League Baseball is a fucking disaster because they are virtue signaling. They've bent the knee to the woke mob and now they will never be able to stand up again. This is a terrible decision, and each and every step they take down this path makes it worse. Major League Baseball has fully embraced identity politics and woke politics in sports. And now we all know when you go woke, you go broke. Baseball was already struggling to maintain their audience. Now you've told a bunch of their audience they're not interested in you. You're not the right type of fan. We only want to follow this narrative. Only if you vote a certain direction do we care about you. And it is fucking disgusting. Fuck Major League Baseball and this stupid decision. Let me know what you think about this in the comments below. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later.